ke depan. Semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara, terus berpikir positif, berbuat baik, peduli terhadap sesama. Semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. Excellence, persevere, integrity, innovation, respect and teamwork makes global champions. Ciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan. School of Information System Bina Nusantara.
This is the stage.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, so if we stand here, Miss Tipaya, actually it is broadcasting throughout the room.
Okay.
Okay, but if you move aside, then no one's going to hear you.
Thank you.
And you also be able to share screen as well. Okay.
Okay. Share
Right.
screen.
The share screen is at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. You can.
Yeah. Can you try to slideshow it because
Right. Okay. Slideshow.
show. Okay. Let me print screen and then send to your WhatsApp so you can see the how it's. Okay. This one. Okay. So it is like that.
Should I stop sharing now?
Yeah. You can stop sharing. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Maybe we can wait in the sofa. Okay.
All right. You send to the what?
Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara terus berpikir positif, berbuat baik, peduli terhadap sesama, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. Excellence, persevere, integrity, innovation, respect and teamwork makes global champions. Ciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara terus berpikir positif, berbuat baik, peduli terhadap sesama, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. Excellence, persevere, integrity, innovation, respect and teamwork makes global champions. Ciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan, semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara menciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan. Semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara, terus berpikir positif, berbuat baik, peduli terhadap sesama. Semangat bangun Nusantara, penuh inovasi, gagasan, kreativiti. Excellence, persevere, integrity, innovation, respect and teamwork makes global champions. Ciptakan teknologi baru, berpikir maju ke depan. School of Information Systems Bina Nusantara.
Okay, everyone, we're going to start in 4 minutes. So please take your seat. Thank you.
speech pokoknya ingetin aja Miss. Nggak.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your participation in our pre-event of Protho-a-thon 2022. Currently, we have a webinar with the topic of Usability Heuristic of UI Design. And before we start our event, let us pray with our own belief. Pray, start. Okay, thank you. And before the welcoming speech, let me greet for those who also join us in the YouTube channel and also in our Zoom. And now let's hear the welcoming speech from the head of program of Business Information Technology, Bina Nusantara University, Dr. Sulistyo Heri Prachoyo. For Pak Heri, please come forward to the stage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nulil. Thank you all. Yeah. Good afternoon, all. All right. According to the Industry 4.0, yeah, this is this seminar. Yeah, usually with the topic is UX. Yeah, UX experience. UX is now one that industry needs a lot. Yeah. This also follow the trend of technology too. Yeah, so it will move and change continuously. Yeah, this grow and will change the following the technology. Yeah, therefore, with this good opportunity, please follow this event carefully. Yeah, and so it can increase your knowledge. Yeah. Thank you for Miss Vitaya, for her willingness to provide insight on this occasion. Yeah. Thank you also Ms. Nuril and committee who have prepared this event with good prepare. Yeah, and thank you again for the participant and all of have attending this seminar and happy joining this event. Yeah. Thank you all. Yeah, and at the time we'll back to Ms. Nuril. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Heri, for the welcoming speech. And now I think it is time for us for the sharing session with our lovely speaker, Associate Professor Tipaya Cinta Covid PhD. For Miss Tipaya, please come forward to the stage. Thank you. Okay, hello, Miss Tipaya. Nice to see you here. You still mute. Sorry, Miss Tipaya, you still mute. Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share about a little bit about you, Miss Tipaya, to the all the audience. Miss Tipaya Cinta Covid PhD is an assistant professor at Department of Library Science, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. She earned her PhD in Information Science and Technology from College of Information Science and Technology, Drexel University, USA. Her research interest is in the area of human-computer interactions, computer support cooperative work, and also user experience design. She specialized in designing experimental research to study user behavior, user experience, and also user motivations. And for all the participants in Gather-a-thon and also in Zoom and YouTube, you also can ask your questions. We're going to have a Q&A session after the explanation of Ms. Dipaya. But however, if let's say you are afraid, if you are forget your question, you just feel free to type your question in the chat, and then me and Mr. Dipaya will answer your question later. Okay, and if you want to ask directly during the Q&A session, you are allowed to raise your hand. Can you please probably try the reactions on the below bar? You see there is a reactions, so you just raise your hand later in the Q&A sessions, and then I will put you on the spotlight so everyone can hear you. Okay, and for those who join us in the Zoom, you can type your questions in the chat. Okay, everyone clear? Can you please give reactions? Come on, guys, give reactions. Okay, anyone? Okay, so Ms. Tipaya, it is a little bit about this event. Actually, this is a pre-event of our Protho-a-thon. Protho-a-thon is a prototype marathon. It's our international prototype design competitions. So we also have some of the participants for the competition in here that would like to probably hear your sharing about the UI as well, because currently they are in the pitch decks progress. Yeah, hopefully that the knowledge from you will make them better. Okay, so now the Gather-a-thon is yours, Ms. Tipaya.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Ms. Nuril, and thank you for the welcome message. So, hello everyone here, all the participants of the prototype design competition. It's my honor to be here. So I like Ms. Nuril just said, I hope that the information that I share with you today would help you in developing your prototype better. Let me share my screen. Screen share. Okay. Share. Okay. Okay. I currently will not be able to see you now, but can anyone tell me, can you see the screen clearly?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. So let's get started. So today what I will share with you guys will be about usability heuristics, which for the user interface design. When I prepare for this topic, I heard that most of the participants probably have not heard about usability heuristics before. So that's why I selected this topic to share with you guys today. So let's begin. Okay, so getting started, what we will talk about in this session, this afternoon session, we will talk about user experience and user interface, of course. We will talk about like to get all of us on the same page about the definition of user experience and how is user experience actually relate to user interface. And then we also talk about the usability, and lastly we will cover most of the most part of the presentation will be about usability heuristics, which is the main topic of this session. Okay, let's start by UX and UI. So let me ask all of the participants. Probably I'll give you like just a few minutes. I tried to pick the website that I hope most of the participants probably have some experience with this website. So please try to recall your experience, your shopping experience with Shopee. And I select this one as a Shopee for the especially for the Indonesia, right? So just recall your shopping experience with this website, with this e-commerce website for a few seconds. Okay. And my next question would be, when you go shopping on Shopee, what are your feelings toward this e-commerce website? Do you have a positive feelings or do you have a negative feelings? So what I mean by positive feelings will be when you use Shopee, most likely, like most of the time, you feel like happy. You feel that you have fulfilled your goals, which is like shopping, buying some things, or in terms of not related to Shopee would be like if we talk about other applications, positive feelings might also include like love, like for those like positive feelings when you use this website. What about negative feelings? For negative feelings, it can be like when you use Shopee or other websites, you feel like unhappy, you feel like you get confused or frustrated, or you get annoyed by some functions or menu on the Shopee website. So can some of you share with me like just a few, because here I can't see the chat either. So probably I hope like a few of the participants, can you share with me when you go shopping on Shopee, what are your feelings toward this e-commerce website, positive or negative?
Okay, everyone, probably you can also type your answer in the chat. What do
Okay.
you feel when you are going shopping on Shopee? For me, it's positive, Ms. Paya.
Okay.
I'm happy to use a Shopee. What about everyone in here? Can you please probably type, or can you please give me the
Reactions?
reactions?
Yeah.
Yes. If you love it, then you can have your heart in here. Okay. So I can see one heart in here, Ms. Paya,
Okay.
and two hearts. How about the rest? Yeah, I think some of them feel it is
Mostly
they
positive.
are mostly positive. Is there any negative? If negative, probably you can have a question mark for a negative feelings about the Shopee. Oh yeah, we do have in here some negative.
Okay.
Yes, you can share the question mark if you feel negative with the
All
Shopee
right.
platform. Okay. Yeah, so I actually mostly is having a positive thought, but we also have a negative thoughts.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Nurul. So thank you for the all participation from the audience as well. So have you ever thought about why do you feel positive toward this website Shopee, or why do you feel negative toward going when you go shopping on Shopee website? So here, what I'm going to share with you is this. I already asked these questions. So why do you have positive and negative feelings? So based on according to Peter Morville actually offers explanations why users feel good while using a website, because the positive user experiences will happen when user feel all of these elements. Probably not all, but like these are like qualities of the website that can lead users to feel positive, or if those websites doesn't have this quality, it might lead users to have negative feelings while using the website. And we can actually apply this to mobile applications or to other digital products as well. So now recall again, since you said like for both of the sides though, like for those who have positive feelings or negative feelings toward Shopee, as an example in this presentation, have you ever thought about why do you feel like this toward Shopee? So here are the qualities that I'm going to explain. I'll briefly explain for each one of them. So here, if the website is useful, in this case, mean the website, the products of the system actually offering some solutions that can help users achieve their task, can help users like solve their problems. So they will feel that this website is useful. So for Shopee, mostly we go there on Shopee to go shopping, right? To get things, to buy stuff, right? So if the website can actually help you to be able to buy stuff as you want, as you would like to, you feel that okay, this is useful website that you would go for shopping for goods, right? This one is the first quality which is useful. Apart from useful is that not only the website can offer solutions that can help users achieve their goals, achieve their task. It should be easy to actually use your products, to use the products of the system. So the second quality would be usable. And in this sense, usable here is actually, well, usable is kind of adjective, right? So the noun term for this is usability, and this one, this concept here, it will be the main focus of our presentation today. The next quality would be desirable. Apart from, well, useful and usable, you can see that it is like you have to actually develop, create a system that, of course, like when people coming to use your products, they have that goal. They have like tasks or goal that they would like to accomplish. So obviously, you need to make users comes in and have positive experience while using your system or products. It has to be useful, it has to be usable. The other one would be if you can make your a product or system desirable. In this sense, think of like for example, like the iPhone. They develop their products that make the iPhone actually associated with like you have like a good image, or if you have like iPhone, you might have like you have like a confident identity, something like that. So desirable in this case, if you can develop your products and system that make it associated with like power, value of image, identity, the brand, and it's most likely like related to like those emotional design. So if you can make your products or your website that, because when you develop your products, right, there are probably are a lot like various other like products or competitors to the same group, to the competitors in the same industry to your products. So if you can develop your products more than just being useful and usable, but make it desirable, make people want to go for your products rather than to the competitors, this will also make users feel like positive towards your products and system. Next quality would be findable. In this case, it's related to the way that you locate the way that you place or implement like the objects or the functions, and also like the informations, make it easy for users to actually navigate through the website, through your products and system, and actually to locate the objects. In this case, it can be like information, the functions, the menus that the users are looking for in order to actually use them to achieve their goals. So if it's easy to find what users needs, of course, users will feel positive toward your system and products. The next quality would be accessible. In this case, this quality accessible is particularly applied to people, the group of users who have disabilities. So if you can develop your product or the system to actually make it accessible to this group, your users who have some limitations, that will make it even better to serve like a large group, a large user group. Uh, Although they have like limitations, limitations can be like they have like eyesight limitations, they cannot read very small print. If you can develop and enlarge those small print, make it accessible to those group of users. Obviously, again, this is another quality that can make positive feelings toward your websites. Next is credible. In terms of credible, this quality means that when you design your products or system, you should be able to make your users trust and believe in the information you presented on your website. So for this, this quality here, you can imagine that this quality mostly related to like the information, the content part of the website. So whatever like shipping policy, whatever you whatever you wrote, whatever information presented on the website, you should be able to actually implement those policy, or even like say like for in terms of Shopee example, even like the products you presented, you should have those products on stock, right? So if you like select some of the products and put to the shopping carts, but later on you find out that this products is actually like out of stock, it actually might break some trust, because the user already see that, okay, when they click on this product, it is actually available on the website. So why now it is not? Why now, like after you already like um, select into the shopping cart, so now the system just show is out of stock. So this kind of information presentation, information design, and actually make sure that you can actually follow through what you presented on the website. This is the quality, credibility of your system and your products. The last quality would be the last quality that Peter Morville has discussed is valuable. In this sense, for this last quality, it is the quality as corresponds to more like on the business side. So in this case, it says like these qualities mean the products and system deliver values to the business. In the real world, right? Although we have to develop products, system, the applications, web applications, websites to meet the user's needs. But in the real world, this application, we make them meet the user's needs, so users will come and use this application. So this application will also like create some like benefits or some like profits to the business, right? So if you can create your website that can also like deliver values to your company, to the business. For example, this website you develop it and users have good experience while using the website, so it improves customer satisfaction. So when customers satisfied with the websites, they come back, they frequently come back to your website. So this coming back again, frequently coming back to the websites is actually creating values for this business. So this is another quality. If you can like keep in your mind to develop your products to have all this quality. Okay, so to sum up, whatever impact or affect users' feelings, why users have negative or positive feelings when they use some system or some products, it is because all these qualities of the system, the products actually contribute to the either positive or negative feelings of the users. So the qualities that we have talked about is useful, usable, desirable, findable, accessible, credible, and valuable. So these are the qualities of the system, the products. If they have these qualities, it is most likely that users will have positive feelings while using the products. So what I like explain to you guys is actually trying to explain to you, or trying to actually hope that you would understand when we talk about user experience, right? So when you talk about user experience, there is actually like the official definition. This is the definition from the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO. The standard is ISO 9241, and the standards here is actually give a definition of user experience, which means person's perceptions and responses, which the persons who perceive like have these perceptions or responses actually resulting from the use or the anticipated use of a product, system, or services. So earlier we talked about all the qualities of the websites, the product, the system. If they have those quality will actually help to form users' perception and responses, right? And this perception and responses is formed while users using the website for shopping, using the products of the system, but not only while using those products and system, but user experience also concerned about when user actually like expect based on user expectation when they expect that they should be able to use the product, they should be able to find something to perform some actions on the product or the website. So user experience actually involve like more like the perceptions and the feelings and the attitudes towards the website, the product, and the system. So we already talked about the qualities. So what do we need to do? If you might have the questions. What do we need to do to actually achieve these qualities that we just talked about in our digital products, so that we hope like these our digital products most likely will create positive experiences with our users. So this graphic actually is proposed by Jesse James Garrett. So he explained the user experiences, how are we going to actually achieve like positive or design user experiences in 5 planes. These are the planes. There are 5 planes, and I will start from the bottoms of the graphic here, the bottom plane here. So in order to achieve those qualities that we just talked about, what do we need to do? We need to design our products, right? And to design our products, although today we talk a lot about like I say so many times like the term user interface, right? Although user interface is the concrete one, like the concrete level that it is where users interact or see the interface, the visual of the system, and interact with the system. But before we would be able to actually create or develop the user interface, we would actually have to do more works behind that until we achieve our results, which is finished user interface design. So let's start at the bottom here. So in order to actually finally come up or design the UI and actually be able to actually design our products and the system to have those qualities that will make users having positive experiences, we have first to start with we have to plan how it like we have to actually plan and determine the goals, right? We're going to develop this system of the products for which group of users, what are the user needs, and actually what is the business objective that we are going to develop these products, and we would like to achieve this business objective as our product goals. So the first plane at the bottom here of this graphic, Jesse James Garrett called this plane strategy plane. And actually, it means in this plan, you have to actually set up a goals for your product development. And when we talk about products development, we will actually we will have to do research, right? Do research and plan how you go, like the goal, set up the goal for your product development. So when you do research, you have to actually research and knows about user needs. You need to know users' pain points. What is user expectations? What kind of questions the user have, and what kind of information the user would like to use or need to use while doing their task, right? So on this stage, I would call this one as like research and planning stage. So you have to find information, understand about user needs, their goals, their motivations, their pain points, and on the other side, you have to also understand your own business. Why do you develop this product to achieve what kind of goal that can help your business? So that we would call business objectives. So when we have all this information, we can set up, at least we have some idea, why do we need to develop this product or this website, who are the users that this website will actually like serve, who like what kind of problems that we would like to help. If they come to this website, they can actually use this website to achieve their goals or achieve which type of task or what characteristic of task. So once we have all this information, when we do research, you will gather lots and lots of information, right? You will know lots and lots of pain points that users are now facing, and also like the business, what are the objective of the business. So after that, you might not be able to actually address all the pain points or the problems that the user have. So the next, oh, sorry. So the next plan would be the next plan that Jesse James Garrett called the scope plan. So based on the information that you gather from your research, you gather lots and lots of information. Now you need to actually be able to set the scope. I myself actually call this plan as well. You have to gather or finalize or conclude or finalize the requirements. What would be the function specifications like? So this application, this website that you are going to develop to help the pain points of this user, this group of users. So what exactly are like the functions you will offer in your website? And that's on the function part, right? Function part, you have to on this plan, scope plan, you have to identify the functional specifications, what functions you will offer in your website. On the content side, you will have also to set the scope for the content, or here in the graphic, we call content requirements. So what kind of content information that you will provide on your website that will meet the user needs and will meet the user's goals. After you have all these requirements, you have settled with the requirements, the next step would be the next plan that is called structure plan. Now would actually be like the designing phase. So now you know why you need to, now you have like the goals, right? Who are you going to develop the product for, to help solve what kind of problems, and then you now be able to actually create the requirement. So here are the functions that we will include, we will implement in our website, in our products or system, and here are the list of the contents that we will provide in like the topics of the contents that we actually provide or present on the website. So the next step would be, so how are you going, the next step would be like designing. In this case, it means, so you have all the requirements. You might think of this, the structure plan, as like having all those requirements, you might actually have to put the structure to the functions and also to the content, so that users will be able to interact with your product, interact with those functions, and be able to actually read and understand the information that you're given on the website. So I see this structure plan is actually equal to designing phase. So now you have to think about how the users will actually interact with your features, with the functions provided in your system. Say for example, the concrete example would be if you develop like an e-commerce website, right? So are you going to actually ask the users to interact by like using like the concept of, okay, they pick the merchandise and then they put it into shopping carts, or are you going to ask them actually to look like to interact in the sense of like a catalog of goods or merchandise? So they just search through the catalogs and then they select select the goods that they want. So at this stage, the designing stage, it will involve like you have to design how users will interact with your product, in this sense, with all the features, all the functions. And also on the information side, you have to actually think about how you're going to organize your information, or the technical term would be information architecture. All those information, all the topics or the issues of the contents, how are you going to actually like group them into relevant topics, and how you're going to actually like present them on your website or the products and system that will actually the organization of information, you will also need to make sure that, okay, user will understand the way that you organize the information. The level up, the next one would be once you have the idea, like you already like decide and think about, okay, these are the structure of the information, how are you going to structure all the information on your website, and how are you going to actually like let users interact with the product. So now the next step, the next stage or the next plane here would be skeleton plane, which you can think of this as like prototyping stage. So now you actually implement, right, or try to actually make things, make your ideas, make your design ideas, make it more like more concrete, make it more into like prototyping. So you have to design your information presentation. So now you have what now you have like the contents you would like to present on the website. How are you going to organize the content? So the next step would be, how are you going to present this content? Are you going to just present them in just text? Or would you be able to, would you think like that if you use like graphics or put them in like tables, in charts, might make it easier for users to understand or to comprehend those information. So that would be information design that will involve both the how are you going to present like your functions and the information on your websites. The next part would be you have to do like wireframing, right? You have to actually, well, develop your prototype. You have to actually now look at like the layout of your website and how are you going to actually place or locate like all the menus, all the buttons, all those like interface elements. How are you going, where are you going to place them in your website, and also like the flow between the web pages, and that will also that now will also concern about navigation. So you have to also like decide how users will actually navigate through the websites, right? Which information or which page will link to which page, so on and so forth. So now you will see right now, based on my explanations here, the bottom part, the strategy plane, as I explained, I hope you can see that at this plane, the information you have to deal with together in order to develop your products would actually be more like abstract, more like in terms of the concepts, ideas, and then when you go up and up through each plane here, you will see like it is like you actually make your ideas here to make it like more concrete, because now we are now on the skeleton plane or the prototyping phase here. So now you can see like an example, right? A prototype of your websites or products or services. And then the last one, the last plane would be here. It would be the more concrete plane, which is actually the user interface, which is actually what user sees and actually interact with. And we call this plane a surface plane. And for user interface here, you actually have to design eventually like how users will actually interact with your system, right? And you see on this picture, they say like sensory design. So in this sense, it means it is the stage where user actually interact with your UI, and now your UI can actually include like all the information that users will perceive through that sensory, right? So sensory like involve like visuals, auditory, tactile, right? So your UI, right now we are more familiar with when we talk about websites. Our sensory would be most likely based on like visual sensory. But in the future, and if you think about like right now we have like virtual reality, augmented reality, so the user interface might also think about you use like auditory sensory and tactile sensory as well to actually decide how users going to interact with your system or interface. So here what I'm trying to explain is, and I hope that this is your takeaway. I hope that you understand that based on at the beginning and now, I try to explain in order to actually generate a positive user experiences for users when they come to use your products, your websites. You have to know that, okay, the qualities that your websites need to have, what are the good qualities that you need to concern or have to be or you should strive for when you develop your products, and how are we going to be able to actually achieve those qualities, have to actually develop and make our products or system have those qualities. These are the steps or the phases that you may have to go through in order to actually like have the successful product development. So let's come back here. So in this session, what is the focus is going to be about usability, or like the usable quality here that we have just talked about. So now we will come to usability and usability heuristics. So we have talked a lot about the term. I think all of you are familiar with this term, usability. So we might ask ourselves, so what is exactly usability? So again, there are actually in the research community, there are researchers who try to give or to define the term usability. But here, let me give you one of the definition from this international standard. So it's again the definition from the ISO 9241. For this standard, actually define usability as the extent to which a system, product, or service can be used by specified users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. So based on this definition, you can see that they define the usability in terms of the interaction between system, product, or services, users, goals, and the context of use, and the qualities that in this definition consider that, okay, this system or product actually usable by our target group. We look at effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction. If some of you have read like from other sources, you might have also seen something else, because for some other sources, the qualities of the usability, they might also define more than just effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction. They might also talk about learnability, how easy it is for users to first learn how to use the system or the products. Or they may also talk about memorability, how easy it is for users if they stop using your products or your website for quite some time. When they come back, can the system help them to know or to remember the functions? So that's another quality, which is memorability. But in this presentation, just focus on this definition from the international standard ISO here. So again, for the ISO, when they talk about the quality, well, when we said usability, so what do we mean by usability? They will now look at the effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction when user effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction of the use when user actually use our system to achieve their goals in some context of use. So here you can see that I underline all these elements here in this definition, because I just want to emphasize that when we talk about usability, we have to concern it during the use situation. When we talk about the use situation here, it actually encompasses these four elements: system, users, goals, and context of use. Okay, this slide just summarize the definitions of user experience and usability based on the ISO international standard. So here, just want to explain a little bit more. I emphasize a lot about the term use, right? Both, let me come back here a little bit. So both the definitions for user experience and usability, you can see that in both definitions, they actually look at the use, right? The use here. So what we mean by the use, like I said, when we talk about use, it actually encompasses 4 elements. The first one is that the users, your target group, your users here actually using your products, right? Your products here to actually trying to achieve their goals. In this in this graphics, goals mean that tasks actually, like they have some tasks they would like to achieve, and those are their goals. Tasks is, for example, again, you want to go shopping, so that's your task or your goal. You want to actually write a report, so your task would be writing a report or typing a report. So when we talk about use, it is consisted of users use the product to actually achieve some kind of task, which is actually we can consider this as that goal. And we also have to look at where, like the context of use, the circumstances or the environment that users actually use your product to achieve the task. So the context of use might be like indoor, for example, it can be at home or in office, or it can be outdoor, like for example, in a market, or it can be like any like public spaces. So when we talk about the use, we have to consider like these 4 elements when we when we try to actually develop or develop our products. We have to understand these 4 elements here. When we understand these 4 elements, when we understand our users, the tasks that they have to achieve, and the context that they have to do the task or to finish that task, it will help us to actually identify or offer the solutions in our products to help meet all this like user needs, like user characteristics, their task requirements, and also where they actually like perform the task. Okay, so now we will talk about usability heuristics. So now I hope that we are on the same page now. Okay, in this session, when we talk about usability, we will talk about how we're going to actually design our products so that it is so that users can effectively, efficiently use our products to achieve to finish their task or to accomplish their task, and also they are satisfied or having a good feelings or positive experiences with our products. So one thing to help you to think about when you design your system or your websites, to make sure that you have this information to be able to help you to achieve or trying to strive for the designing the application, the web application that is usable for the users. We can use one of the concept, which is usability heuristics. So what are usability heuristics? So basically usability heuristics, let me say like this, when we talk about usability heuristics, it's basically offer like a guidelines for usability, a guidelines for if a system or website would perceive as usable, you should consider, you should take into consideration these guidelines. And they call heuristics actually because there is one type of, if you want to evaluate or assess the level of usability of a product or the system, there is you can either like test your products or system with the real users, right? But for some situation, you may not be able to actually test, or you may not be able to actually like recruit, because of you don't have like enough budget or enough time to recruit the actual users to come in and try out your system. Another type of usability evaluation is called Heuristics Evaluation, which means like you can actually ask the experts, like usability experts, to actually help to evaluate the usability, the level of usability of your system by why the experts evaluate the level of usability. They actually evaluate based on these guidelines, based on the heuristics. So this approach, we call it heuristic evaluation. So back here, when we talk about usability heuristics, one of the popular, one of like the very well received usability heuristics is the one that developed by Jacob Nielsen. And so what I'm trying to say is that what I'm sharing with you now for the usability heuristics, I'm sharing with you the usability heuristics developed by Jacob Nielsen. But if you have time, I mean, if you do a search on Google Scholar, you'll actually see that there are many, many more like usability heuristics. Like there are researchers develop heuristics or guidelines to access or to understand usability. There are many, many, many more versions of usability heuristics. But again, the one that I selected to talk about, to share with you all today is the one by Jacob Nielsen, and which is the one that is very like well received in the community. So let me introduce to you a little bit like how the usability heuristics by Jacob Nielsen is developed. So basically, originally or initially, these heuristics are developed by Jacob Nielsen and Ralph Mulich for heuristic evaluation. So again, like I said, initially they developed this to be able to use this to evaluate the level of usability of products or system or the website. And here, if you want to learn more about the papers, the research papers explaining when Jacob Nielsen and Ralph Mulich developed this usability heuristics, you can go to this references. So later on in 1994, Jacob Nielsen actually performed like a factor analysis of 249 usability problems. And based on the result of the factor analysis here, he actually refined the usability heuristics that he developed with Mulich earlier to actually derive this set, the set that we will talk about. He derived this set of usability heuristics with the maximum explanatory power, well, to achieve like the very the maximum result, the best result from this factor analysis. And again, if those of you who might be interested in learning more about this, you can refer to this two references. So again, my point in sharing with you all is like this. So usability heuristics is actually developed for like the evaluation of the evaluation of the usability of a system. So in this sense, you might have questions. So if you can evaluate the usability of system, so this means usability heuristics will actually be applied or implemented after you have designed or developed your products, right? But here, since we know these usability heuristics, it can also be used at the very beginning. I mean, if you know these guidelines for usability, like I said, usability heuristic is like a guidelines that your system should have or should show qualities like this. So it is more likely that your system will be more usable than if your system doesn't have or doesn't follow these usability heuristics. So that's why right now the usability heuristics, especially like this one, like I said, from developed by Jacob Nielsen here, you can use this information to help you actually design better as well. You don't have to actually like this finish design and then use this usability heuristics just only for evaluation. So usability heuristics here can be applied or implemented or can be used for both like when you at the design stage and also after you finish the design stage and you would like to evaluate the level of usability of your system. So, okay, let's now get into more details about Jacob Nielsen's usability heuristics. So for this set of usability heuristics, there are 10 items in this usability heuristics. So let's start with the first one. The first one is visibility of system status. So in the main idea or the gist of this, the first item, visibility of system status is like this. So the system actually have to show information to let users know the current state of the system. And also the system or the website should also provide feedback for users' actions so that users will know whenever users like click a link or click a button, that should be like a feedback so that users know that, okay, their action, that click a link or button, the system actually receive or acknowledge those actions that user has performed. And so this one actually, it is like the system has to communicate the information to the users. So users know what is going on with the system. Users know that, okay, the system is actually listening to their actions, and their actions will actually be performed and to show the results that they are expected to see, right? So so basically the keyword here again for visibility of the system is this, when you design the system, you have to provide feedback for users' actions, and also you have to provide like information that will shows that will let users know the current state of the system. When we talk about feedback, again, there are many forms or many types of feedbacks. So mainly right now, when we talk about developing websites, most likely the feedback will be in a visual sense. Visual sense can be like, for example, if you click a link, and after you click that link, the link changed colors from blue to purple. In that sense, the change of the colors provide visual feedback to the users. So users now see or see the information that, okay, this link, you have visited this link before. Apart from visual feedback, you can also provide auditory feedback, tactile feedback, or even you can provide like several multimodal, several types of feedback here when you implement in your system. So for example, this one is actually a learning management system. And so to show you, like give you an example of the design that actually, like this is like a good practice for when you design your user interface to give information to let users know the current state of the system, right? So in this sense, when you go to management system, as an instructor, there are many courses that I have to manage, right? I'm teaching more than one courses. So when I click on the information of one courses, and here on the page of that particular course, this system actually show the information, provide a course name. So it will let users, as me, like the instructors, know which course. Right now, I'm looking at the content of which course that I'm teaching. So this one is an example of the design that's showing the current state of the system for the users. The next one also would be this underline here, the purple underline under this menu, which is content. It again shows the users that you are now working on this menu. You are now actually working on the content menus. You looking at all the content that you made available to your students in these courses. So again, this is another example of visibility of the system status. How you going, like you need to actually design to let users know where they are or the current state of your system. What about this one? Even this one, this is like one of the database that you can actually search for books, for references, for video content. So this database is called Sage, Sage Knowledge in particular. And here in the system here, so actually there is a blue border around the box enter search terms, right? So this blue border actually provides visual feedback to the users, indicating that this UI element, which is, well, searching, you can like enter keywords to search for whatever book or references that you would like to search for. This element is active here. So again, this is another example of designing that actually shows the users or give feedback to the users about their actions. Another example, and this one is one of the bad example of UI design, and it's one of the login to access the e-resources. And again, this one, when I like put in the username and the password and I click login, the website, the page just stay like this, the interface just stay like this. There is no graphic showing that, okay, the system is processing my username or password. That there is nothing. So this is like one of the not a good example, a bad one, that's showing that the lack of feedback, uh, just, well, the system just stays still. Nothing shows on the screen. So lack of feedback to let users know whether the system accepts the username or password or not. This will actually make make the users curious what would happen, uh, especially like the first time, right? That you come in, you just, when you put in the username and password, you click login and nothing's changed, no change, no feedback, no graphic, no dialog box or anything to actually indicating that, okay, the system actually processing the username and passwords. So the first time that I used this system, I got confused, and actually yeah, it doesn't really I kind of have like negative experience for the first time, but then yes, well, as a users, when the second time that I have to use it, now I learn that, okay, this system will not give feedback, so just wait for them. If the username and password is correct, they will let you into the system. If not, there will be errors shown on the screen later on. So again, this is a bad example, one of the bad example. So that's the first one of the usability heuristics, which is you have to actually provide information, give feedback on the system to let user know what is happening with your system, with the website. The second usability heuristic, the second item is it is called like match between system and the real world. And so here I highlight the keywords. So the takeaway would be you have to think about familiarity. So in this sense, it means when you develop your system, your websites, you have to take into account that you need to use like the languages, the terms, the concepts, the objects, the conventions. You try to use all this when you design your system. All these elements, it should be keep in your mind to design and use these terms, concept, objects, and conventions that is familiar to your users group, especially because as a human, right? So when we use our system, although it's a digital product, we will actually carry on the experiences that we have, even like from the physical world or from other websites or from like similar products or system to the current use of your websites. So make sure that you make sure that if you use like you should give priority to using like all those things that is familiar to the users. But just be careful, like if you can like provide something or some approaches that is probably what I'm trying to say is that although what we say is try to implement things that familiar to users, but sometimes you might not need to actually like like um, copy or make it the same, look exactly the same in the digital products, exactly the same as in the physical world. So, but just make it familiar to the users. So for example, here, in terms of the objects, you might actually provide the functions and the features that's similar to physical objects, make it look or resemble what users actually already have experience with the physical objects. But it doesn't have to be like you don't need to actually draw it or generate these objects to exactly look the same, look exactly the same with the physical objects. I'll have an example later. And the second one is, for example, like interaction process. When you decide how users going to interact with your system, uh, one of the like the flow of the interaction or the steps of the interaction, you might also take into consideration to design the interaction process, make it similar to again the actions that users have had experiences before. So here, for example, when we try to sending messages in the digital product, make it similar to passing a note, or when we need to highlight or we give functions of highlighting text on the block, make the idea similar to using a highlighter. If it's similar, or if we use things that users are familiar with, it will be easy for users to learn how to use your system as well, because they can just rely on the experiences. They already have the experiences with before previously, and then they can just apply those previous experience on using your products or the websites. So make it easier for the users to learn how to use your system. So here is an example of, like I said, like for example, for the objects, we try to represent the objects, represent the objects in in the way that users familiar with the physical world. Our physical objects. But in this sense, we can actually, like for a physical calculator will not look flat like this, right? You may have button, like a thick button or something like that. But earlier, what I'm trying to say is that when we say trying to implement things, for example, objects familiar to users, in this sense, you offer like features or functions that is very similar to a physical calculator. You have all these numbers, you have all the mathematical like functions here that users can use. You have like this space on top to show the results, to show calculation results. So this is similar enough. So you don't need to actually make all this like just a rectangular buttons, like looks exactly similar to the physical objects. So this is what I'm trying to say. Make just your objects resemble or similar to physical calculator, but doesn't have to be like look exactly the same. Or like for interaction process. So this one is an example from um, an application that let you read ebook on the desktop, right? And so here, when you change the pages on this application, they use the arrow. You can click the arrow, left and right arrows to actually move between pages. And this one is actually the process similar enough to the way we turn pages with a physical book. So with this implementation, it is easier for users to learn when they use this application to read the ebook, right? It is easier for them to actually knows how to change or move between pages. The third item is user control and freedom. So in this sense, when you design your products, you should make sure that make the users feel that they can, like they have freedom, they can actually control like where they go in this system or website. In this sense, especially this item number 3 here, it involves that you actually should enable users to leave the unwanted state. So in this sense, it means like if you actually at this page, at this current page, but you want to go back to the previous state or previous page, your application should allow this. You should also support exit. If users doesn't want this, they can click on X to exit this page, for example. Or if they want to cancel the process, support the cancel function. And also you should support undo and redo. So think about if you actually like do not want to you want to change to the previous pages. If the users cannot change the pages, they will feel that they don't have any control over using this website or products, right? So when they feel that they do not have control, it will also lead to their negative feelings. So again, you have seen this. I think there is a lot of examples here, and this is one of the example of one of the application, like design applications. So they have function to support undo when I want to when I actually create the slides, the presentation slides. In Google Doc, there is a function to support undo and redo. Okay, the next item is use that you present on your website. The same word should actually convey consistent meanings, and also you should follow like platform conventions. So here, if you think about we have to develop mobile applications for iOS or Android that actually have like conventions or where things are, where all the menus are, right? So you should follow that. So it make your application actually consistent with the platform conventions and make it. And in this sense, it is also, you can think of this as like if you follow the platform conventions, users have used lots and lots of mobile applications before. So if you follow the conventions here, not only make it consistent with the platform conventions, but users are already familiar with this design, particular for the Android, iOS, so make it easier for them as well to actually use your product. And also think of consistency in terms of the functions, the layout, all the visual, the data, and the content. Consistency within within the design of your website applications. So when we talk about consistency, now in more details, there are two kinds of consistency. One is internal consistency, and the other one is external consistency. So when we talk about internal consistency, this means, for example, think about the Microsoft Office applications or the Microsoft Office suite. You have like those word processing, creating presentation slides, all those different applications, right? But here for this Microsoft Office applications, the functions and the allocations across like all this application within this Microsoft Office family, they are all the same. They are consistent. So that that is internal consistency. So it means consistent designing with consistency among the same like family of applications. The the other kinds of consistency is external consistency. This means you have, for example, here, for example, for e-commerce web applications, you have different companies. They actually design the e-commerce website for users to go shopping, right? So if you actually design using the functions, the menus, and the locations that are actually like kind of conventional or the standard way that we usually see in all the e-commerce applications, and you make your own design consistent with those the locations, the functions of the e-commerce website, it will also make it easier for your users to use your system. So here, for example, this is an example of external consistency. So now I go back to my to the example of the Shopee website, and here, for example, here if you notice like almost all of the e-commerce website, they will have like a search function at the top, and the shopping cart will be put on the like right corner, and then the sign up and the login usually will be like in the right corner as well. So this one means you decide with external consistency. So yeah, all these functions and menus are placed and decide similar to other applications in the same industry. The fifth item is to use your system. You should also think about designing your system to actually help prevent errors. So for example here, this one is an obvious example, but right now I think this problem is you're less likely to see this problem. But this problem actually in the very beginning of the computers, the design of the computer applications, we have this kind of problem. So initially, the save and the delete menu options, usually they put like near or next to each other. So, and that would be the problem that user would like to save, but accidentally click delete menus. So if you want to eliminate this or try to prevent this error to happen, so you should actually you should not put the save menu near or next to the delete menu. And also, whenever users want to do actions like critical actions, for example, deleting files, you might actually show the dialog box to confirm them before they commit the action. Some other guidelines to help prevent the errors. For example, you can implement constraints or offer suggestions. For example, to implement constraints, this is an example of a website. This is actually from booking.com, I think. To actually, I want to book a hotel, right? And I have to select check-in and check-out date. So here, this is a constraint that I click on the check-in, the day that I would like to check in, and I click on the past dates. Well, today is 27th of June, right? But when I click on 8 June, which is past date, the system does not allow users to select these past dates for checking in because it's already past date. It's impossible for you to check in on that date, right? So this is one of the example of putting constraints here. Constraints in this case means you make it, yeah, you implement whatever functions or your design to not really actually allow users to do something. So constraint that capability in this case is the users are not allowed to select past this for checking in. The example for offer suggestions, for example, to help prevent errors or reduce the chance for creating errors here. So here, like Google for searching, right? In order to help reduce the chance for users to type incorrect characters, you might offer like suggestion for search keywords. So this is another example. Another example for offer suggestion is, for example, provide defaults. So here is in Gmail, right? I'm actually writing a reply email to Miss Noro, and then I say like, okay, I want to try schedule send. So to help reduce the chance for typing incorrect dates and times, you can see like this schedule send, they offer like defaults that you want to send tomorrow morning, this afternoon, or Monday morning. So these are the defaults that might help reduce the chance for typing wrong dates and times. But if users want to actually change, they do not want to select these defaults, they can also they have like the menu like pick date and time that users can freely change or pick the date and time as they like. Next item is the sixth item on the Jacob Nielsen's usability heuristics is recognition rather than recall. And recognition here, actually, I think in my opinion, this one is also one of the like very important usability heuristics to keep in mind that whenever you design, you should reduce users' memory load. In this case, it means whatever information or functions that users have to perform, you should actually be able to present it to show on the screen on your website, on your application, so that user can see or can recognize that selection, recognize what they have done with your system. They don't have to actually remember in that or memorize those information. So for example, here, when I do a search, this is another e-commerce website. This one is from Thailand. And when I do a search, right, and I type in the keyword search honey. So this is a good example is that the application or the website actually show the search keywords that I have just did the search for, so I don't have to remember. So the bad example would be if there is no word honey here. So I just type honey, they show the results, but there is no word honey here on the search function on the search box, and probably later on I may have to recall what search words did I use for this search results. That is not good. So this is a good example that you show all the information that would help users to recognize to remember what they have done with the system, and they don't have to actually like remember in their head. So recognition rather than recall. Next one is design a system that will allow flexibility while users using the system, and we also take into account the efficiency of use. And this senses mean like allow users, like especially like for those actions that user have to perform like frequently or repetitively, You provide functions that will make users perform those frequent actions quicker. For example, you have keyboard shortcuts to help users perform functions quicker. Or you can, for example, another way is offer personalized content for each individual user or user role. So make it more efficient for users to just looking at information relevant to them. And or you can allow users to customize how the programs works, how the program will work, right, or works based on their needs. And this will call customization. Example of personalization, again, personalization can be in terms of based on providing contents specific to each user or specific to each user group or user role. So this is an example of a website from University of California in Berkeley, and they provide information specific for like each user roles or group. This one, if we click on the students, you have information for the students group, and so on and so forth for faculty and staff and parents, alumni, for example. For customization, this is an example of like Gmail that you have like settings that let users customize how the emails will work in as they would like to. So this is again give user like flexibility, right, to actually will change things in this email to suit their needs. Number 8 and number 9 for usability heuristics. Number 8 is aesthetic and minimalist design. This one is trying to, when you're giving information on your website, present only relevant information and give priority to content and visual elements and the functions that relevant to users' primary goals. So basically, all the information, all the contents of functions that will actually help users achieve their tasks, achieve their goals, you should present those first. Number 9 is help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. And this one deal with when users actually face some errors, some troubles. When you show the error messages to the user, it should be in plain language, well, the language that user can understand. It should not the message should not show like technical jargon, and it should indicate the problem and suggest a solution. Lastly, number 10, like I said, this usability heuristics is consisted of 10 items. So this is the last one in the usability heuristics. So it's about help and documentation. So although when we design our system, we hope that the users do not have to read all this help and documentation to be able to use your system, right? If they have to read before they can use, that means your system probably may not usable, right? But anyway, although you might try to actually design usable system, make it easy to use, make it easy to learn, but sometimes there might be times that users have the problems and they would need some help, try to troubleshoot their problems. And there will be also times that you might have to give information to the users to help them get acquainted or familiarized with your system. So for this item, help and documentation, mainly it means like you have to provide help information that is easily accessible, focus on users' tasks, list all the concrete steps and not too large. For this helps, there are two types of help. There are like proactive help and the reactive help. So for proactive help actually provided for users, um, like that is not actually related to whatever users are doing. Basically, think about those like when you first when like for the first time you log in into a system, a new system, and there will be like a dialog box just pop up and try to explain to you or get you acquainted with the interface of that system. So proactive help can be in the form of tutorials, instructional overlays, templates, contextual help to tips and visits. And there are also two types of the proactive help. There are push proactive help and pull proactive help. So for push one is the one that initiated by the system. So the system or the products of the website just push this information to the user that you have to read, that you have to read, like the users does not request or initiated this help. Which is on the contrary for the pull proactive help is initiated by the user. So this is an example of push productive help. So this is from Figma program. The first time that I come into Figma program, that is like instructional overlays like this, showing me all the menus available in this program. And this one is push proactive help because I did not ask for this, and the system just pushed this information to me to learn more about all the functions available on Figma. The second example, this one is push and pull proactive help. So this one is push and pull. The push one will be the one in the blue box, the blue border here. This is from the Microsoft PowerPoint. So when I click on this menu record here, this information, again, this overlay just push, pop up and try to actually get me acquainted with all the functions available under this menu. But for pull proactive help, in this case, it means now I want to know, I want to use this information, right? I want to use this menu, right? And I put my mouse, I'll hover it over this menu, and there is like a tooltips showing me what this menu is about. Yeah, if I click on this record from this slide, what functions this one will do, this menu will, what kind of functions this menu will perform. So push and pull proactive help. Again, for proactive help is the information that you provide to the users before, like to get them like familiarized with your interfaces. The user have not really get into any trouble. So this is proactive help. So guidelines for proactive help. So when you generate or create proactive help, so make sure that the content is concise, get to the point, and also you should give priority to pull over push proactive help. Because for push proactive help, since the users, they might do some kind of task, but then this information just pop up on their face or well, on the screen. So it might actually like interrupt whatever the users are doing, and probably it may just interrupt like the users, like that goal, they're not looking for this kind of information, so they might actually just dismiss it. So that's why we should actually go for pull over push proactive if possible. And for push proactive help, like we just discussed, so sometimes it's get in the way of users doing their task. So you should make it easily to dismiss this push proactive help. And but sometimes later on, if the users dismiss the push proactive help, but then they might think that, oh, I have seen this before and I want to learn more information because right now I have questions relevant to those help, the push that I just dismiss it. So proactive help content should also be available later after users dismiss it. Another type of help is reactive helps, and here it will assist users when user already have, when now the users are clearly facing trouble or problems, and now users have questions that they want, and they want to learn more information to be able to solve this problem. And the forms of reactive help can be like frequently asked questions, given like those technical documentation or tutorials or training modules. So when you create reactive help here again, you can see reactive help is actually the help that you offer when users are actually now they are facing the problem. So the content should be comprehensive and detailed, because if it's just if you don't provide detailed information, it might not actually user might not get what they want. They want to learn what's happening and how to solve this problem. And since the content might be comprehensive, so that would be lots and lots of content, right? So when you write the content of each for the help, the way that you organize your content, it should support scanning. Again, this one you should follow how you write for the web, right? Because when you write for the web, users don't read like line by line or like all the characters, all the letters on the web. So you should chunk the content. You should implement or use a clear visual hierarchy to let users know which one is a heading, which one is more like important information, which one is just like the explanation. Highlight the keywords and also use bulleted or numbered lists. And these are all the features that you should do to actually support scanning of your document. And you might also think about provide graphics and video as an alternative information sources rather than just have to read or scan all the text content, textual content. Users might actually look graphics of the videos. And also, since there will be lots of information in your help documentation, and so you should allow users to search within the help documentation. And the content, you should cluster relevant topics into groups. And lastly, frequently view content should be highlighted so user can help save users times because contents that because the problem, right, lots of users comes in to check out like the answers. It might be the problems that most of users face. So if you just show this, highlight this at the top of your page, it might help save the users to actually find the information. Okay, I think yeah, I think I managed the time. Okay. So all of this information is, this is the references that I recommend you to go for and read for, if you want to read more or learn more about usability heuristics or user interface design. And again, it's the heuristic that is developed by Jacob Nielsen. Yeah, thank you. And now if you have any questions, I'll take the questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paya, for the sharing about the user experience and also about the heuristic evaluations. Okay, so now is the Q&A sessions. Anyone, any questions, you may raise your hands and then I will put you on the spotlight so everyone in this room can hear. Any question, everyone? Probably from the Zoom also. If you have any questions, you just type your questions in the chat box. Then the committee will help you to read your questions. Any question from students? Okay, usually the first question is very hard, Ms. Tipaya, so let me ask you a question then. Okay, so basically
Okay.
yes, the Jacob Nielsen heuristic evaluation is also we are in a School of Information System also use it for the user experience class, and however actually the knowledge of the heuristic evaluation by Jacob Nielsen is a bit old. It's around 1900 something, right? 1995, if I'm not mistaken, 1990. Okay,
All right.
so is there any other evaluation other than the very famous Jacob Nielsen's? That's my first question. And then later, what do you think? Is it still reliable maybe on the next 5 to 10 years about these evaluations? Thank you.
Uh, Yes. So like I said earlier, for the usability heuristics, there are other usability heuristics developed by like other researchers, especially probably heuristics that develop specific to some types of applications. For this Jacob Nielsen's usability heuristics, although it is developed like Mr. Rose said, it's a long time ago, right? Since 1994. But I see in the industry they also still use or recognize the Jacob Nielsen's usability heuristics. And in my opinion, in general sense, I think it is still usable or applicable in yeah, at this moment. I think it's still applicable. But if you would like to actually evaluate or develop like specific types of system, for example, like virtual reality, for the heuristics that I presented or shared with you today, it might be too general. That you might also have to search for more heuristics that researchers have developed, particularly for or specifically for virtual reality. So to answer your questions, whether in the future, in 5 to 10 years, the heuristics, this set of heuristic that I just shared with you will still be applicable. I think in general sense, it might also still be applicable. But again, if there are like more specific technologies, like the advancement of the technologies, I think more heuristics might also be developed specific to those applications. Or for example, if you want to evaluate usability of the metaverse in the future, there might be more heuristics developed specific for metaverse.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So everyone, any questions before we are closing the sessions? You may raise your hands. Okay, because
I'm not sure if I go too fast.
no, actually, it's very clear, Ms. Paya. That's why no one asking the question, because your explanation is very clear, and also you provide with some of the examples as well. Okay, so everyone, I think we are going to close this session. So let me wrap up about the Mystify explanations. So actually, it was started with the positive and negative feelings during the exploring of the e-commerce website, and it is depends on the useful, disable, desirable, valuable, findable, accessible, and also credible. And Miss Ipaya also explained about the usability heuristics, the Jacob Pilton usability heuristics. There is five usability heuristics: the feasibility of system status, match between system and the real world, user control and freedom, consistency and standard, error prevention, recognition rather than recall, flexibility, efficiency, aesthetic, minimalist design, and help user recognize from error, help, and documentation. And however, actually, we do have the question finally, Ms. Sipaya, but it is coming from our Zoom participants. So let me read for you. Are these UI UX
Okay.
design and stuff only applies to web designing and stuff, or it could be implemented on a software development as well? Is coming from Juan. Yes. Okay.
Apply this to develop websites or to develop like software applications. Is that correct? I think so.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I think yes. For this usability heuristics, you can apply. Actually, you can apply to whatever like digital products that you develop, that you have users to use it. So it can be either websites, the software applications, or even like mobile applications. But again, like I said, for mobile applications, these heuristics do apply to those when you develop mobile applications or software applications. But for mobile applications, since the size of the screen is smaller, so that might be like other heuristics that you have to take into account to actually deal with the different size of the screen on the mobile phones or mobile devices. So yes, you can apply it to software applications development.
Okay, so hopefully that it will answer the question from Yuan. So yes, actually it can be applied in any software development as well, Ms. Tipaya. Yeah. Okay, so
Yes.
now I think it's time for us for taking picture. Okay, everyone, if you have camera, please do open your camera. We're going to take a picture. If it is possible for you to open the camera, please open the camera. Yes. Okay, the committee also, can you please, you can open your camera. Thank you. Everyone, come on. Anyone? Can you please turn on the camera? Oh yeah, and don't forget to fill the attendance and also the evaluation form shared by our committee from the chat box. Okay, thank you. Come on, everyone. Okay, so I think I have to take three times. Mr. Tipaya is I have three screen here. Okay, so the screen one.
Okay.
Let me open my mask first. Okay, then 1, 2, and 3. Okay, wait. We still have two more. Okay, next one. Okay, the second screen is 1, 2, and wait, connecting. Okay, 3. Thank you. And then the third screen. Okay, for this in Zoom, it will be taken by the committee that are currently joined in Zoom, yeah? Okay, thank you. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so thank you everyone for the participation. You can press the Z just for cheering up and give appreciation to the our lovely speaker. Yeah, actually, if you press the Z button, you will dance. Okay, and you also can give reaction.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, Ms. Tipaya, for coming to our event. Hopefully that we will have another event for you as well, Ms. Tipaya. We can invite you in another event. And for the audience, tomorrow we still have the pre-event for the Protho-a-thon 2022. We're going to have a Q&A session with the Code Kido for those who get the case from Code Kido. And also we're going to have a session about UX research, but it will be held in Bahasa Indonesia. Okay, so thank you and see you next event. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Good luck for your competition.
Thank you, Ms.
Bye.
Tipaya. Okay. If you want to leave the gather down, you just close the tab.
Right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Don't forget to fill the attendance and evaluation form, everyone. And see you tomorrow. And don't forget to join the event tomorrow. Please register. Okay. Bye bye.